United one. So Steven Gerrard, he took a film crew to his house for a documentary, and he showed off a collection of football shirts he'd swapped throughout his career. And the person, like the interviewer, he asked why, there's no Manchester United shirts in here. And he said, I will never have one of those shirts in my house. I do not want one in my house. I do not want one of those shirts. I don't want it, right?
I'm picturing it with Gerard's Scouse accent, and it just sounds wonderful.
Yeah, I'm not going to try that. I'm not going to try it. But yeah, exactly. But then on the other side, Gary Neville has been incredibly vocal and still is about his hatred of Liverpool. There was a game where Rio Ferdinand in 2006 scored the winner at Old Trafford. Now, the Liverpool fans always give stick to Gary Neville. He was always a target because he was kind of emblematic of that team. And Gary Neville runs over to the side where the Liverpool fans are celebrating, kisses the badge and kind of swears at the fans, gets them all nice and heated. He ended up getting a fine for that, I think, and maybe a little ban. Then there was, now this one, I read it and I was genuinely shocked. So Neil Ruddock, who was not a very talented footballer, but a very physical footballer, he once broke both of the legs of Andy Cole, who was at Manchester United at the time, in a reserve match, right? When questioned about it later, said, I didn't mean to break both of his legs. I only meant to break one. I absolutely destroyed him. I know it's not big and it's not clever, but it's great.
Wow. And
now,
that was the beginning of the proverb to break two legs with one tackle, correct?
Yeah, exactly. That's where it comes from the great philosopher Neil Ruddock. Yeah. So that one really, really shocked me. And then other players that kind of became a lightning rod was, of course, Wayne Rooney, right? Not only is he an Everton fan, Everton player, Everton legend, he would then go on to their biggest rivals and become their record goal scorer of all time. Now, his record in games against Liverpool actually isn't that great. It's only 5 goals in 22 appearances, but he enjoyed the ones he did score against them, definitely. So I think when a rivalry even has the players going at each other and the players actively not liking each other, like the stories now of in the England camp, there would be a Liverpool table and a Manchester United table. They wouldn't sit together. Like, it was deep rooted. It's the same things you kind of hear about Real Madrid and Barcelona, like the players not passing to each other, stuff like that. And then, of course, the most kind of recent incident which really stoked things up was Luis Suarez and Evra, when Suarez was found guilty of being racist towards Evra. Then there was the refusal of a handshake. It all got very messy. Obviously, Suarez is completely in the wrong there. And I'm not going to mention, I am going to mention Liverpool's terrible PR campaign after that again. But this is like other things that add to it. And now, we've talked about it before, how about in Italy, players like Pirlo plays for Inter, he played for Juve, he played for AC Milan. All the players just join the rivals and it doesn't really matter, right? It doesn't seem to matter that much. The last player to go from either team directly was Phil Chisnall in 1964. He moved from Manchester United to Liverpool for £25,000.
So this was the last player that has played for both teams?
No, that went directly from one to the other.
All right.
Now, I looked after that for players who had played for both Manchester United and Liverpool. The only ones that came up were Paul Ince and Michael Owen.
Wow.
Now, Liverpool fans I know still don't forgive Michael Owen for joining Manchester United afterwards. It definitely doesn't help that he won the league with them and maybe the Champions League with them. I can't remember if he was there when he did. But anyway, that definitely their fans do not forgive him for that. Paul Ince upset fans everywhere he went, apart from Inter maybe. So I think nobody's surprised about that. But yeah, I think that says a lot about the rivalry, that the players not even that they don't want to, they just don't. If you know what I mean, they just know that I can't even imagine a transfer now where someone would go from, like, if Liverpool came in and bid for Paul Pogba, I could not imagine that transfer even being accepted, even if it was 200 million.
So now this thing I didn't mention in the rivalry between, I actually wanted to put it in the timeline because it was in the time lineup quiz, but it was very Italian and very Inter based. So It was kind of tough. But like you were saying, just like you were saying, in Italy, we've seen a lot of players transfer from AC Milan to Inter and vice versa, from Inter to Juventus and vice versa. In 2014, in the January transfer window, the rumor came out that Inter were about to trade Guarin, the midfielder, Colombian midfielder, for Mirko Vucinic from Juventus. And honestly, for how our team was looking at the time, and Vucinic was a very good forward.
He was lethal when he was at Roma. He was really good,
and we needed that at the time. I was like, I'm all about it. And as I was saying, I'm all about it. Like, I start reading on the online newspapers that like Inter fans are like storming Inter's headquarters, and they're like, this transfer doesn't need to be done. And when asked why, they were like, we are sick of this shit. We're sick of transfers with our direct rivals. What if Guarin goes to Juventus and turns out to be like the key piece in their midfield? We don't want that. And that time, Inter's management was just like, all right, let's not do it, because of the fans. They were like, all right. And that was the beginning of a separation in which, you know, I don't think that even when they were talking about Dybala coming to Inter, extremely complicated deals. And back in the 90s, early 2000s, they would have gone through. Right now, both teams are very careful.
Well, just quickly before we finish, I want to talk about the kind of rivalry between the fans and the hooligans and the impact they had on football culture in the UK. So obviously, the UK was famous for football hooliganism. It's where it was invented. It's where casuals were invented. And both these teams were key in this whole movement. So because they were the two teams that went out and won in Europe, United in the 60s, Liverpool in the 70s, they were the ones who would see the clothes from Italy, from France, and would bring the fashion back. And they kind of brought that culture with them. Now, the fans have had some very eventful games and eventful activities within this rivalry. So let's just go through them. Some of them are particularly ungratifying. But, for example, we were talking about the disasters that both teams share. So the Munich air disaster in Hillsborough. Now, both of these fans have been known to sing songs to each other about the disasters. It seems now that there's a bit of a wave of people being like, "Come on, guys, we can't sing about this anymore. It's not on." But this is kind of the level of deep-rooted hatred there. But there was a few moments that kind of made me chuckle a little bit. In the 96 Cup final, a fan spat at Cantona and tried to punch Ferguson as they walked up the stairs of the old Wembley to try and collect the trophy. In 2006, an FA Cup tie at Anfield, objects were thrown at United players, including human poo.
Yes.
No, I didn't want to poo. Yeah, just human poo. I'm going to stop saying poo. Right.
Feces. Yeah.
yeah. And also, Liverpool fans graffitied Old Trafford in an FA Cup semi-final. They weren't even playing Manchester United. They were playing Chelsea. But because they were at Old Trafford, they decided to graffiti the stadium, including a slogan about Harold Shipman, who is a famous serial killer within the UK. Like I said, they've been known to sing chants to each other. And when there was a two-legged FA Cup tie, and the M62 is the motorway that kind of takes you from Liverpool to Manchester. When Manchester were traveling to Liverpool, Liverpool left up a sign on one of the bridges that just said "Mank Bastards," and United fans left up a banner that said "Murderers" with the date of Hillsborough on it. Yeah, like this is big. These fans do not like each other. And if anything, now it's getting more heated and more kind of heated, for lack of a better word.
After a day of teaching children how to speak English, we forget how to. I'm very glad we didn't have to cover the rivalry between Roma and Lazio in depth, because I would be embarrassed to report out loud the slurs that Lazio fans have for Roma fans. Just look up online. Yeah,
I also don't want to focus on the negatives too much. If you know what I mean, these are things, I just think it tells us about the rivalry. I think obviously the people who do these things they're the minority, they're the idiots, they're the people we have to kind of smile and laugh politely when we're having a conversation, because it's just, if you know what I mean, we know these aren't the real football fans. These aren't the people that
we are huge fans of rivalries, and we are huge fans of banter between teams, but there are moments when it crosses the line, and we do not stand by that. CC, Lazio, and all their racial-based slurs that I don't want to get into. But Rory, what a good weekly topic. I had a lot of fun
I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. And looking forward to this weekend. I think it's going to be a really interesting game. I'm really excited about it. I think this could go either way. I think if Liverpool start well, if in the first 5-10 minutes they really go at United, then they should win the game. But if they start slowly, with Liverpool's high line, with United's counter-attack, I think United could get the 3 points. But I'm going to sit on the fence and say both teams are going to be scared and they'll get a draw.
Only time will tell. But before we say goodbye to you and we get ready for the weekend football action, I think it's time for the solution to our time lineup. Rory, have you been thinking about the answer?
I have been thinking about it. And I think you rather sillily might have dropped me a little hint, Tommy. So thank you for that. Oh, God, but we'll see if I'm actually able to utilize that hint. I'm not convinced.
Let's see. It's time for the time lineup answer. Rory, how are you feeling?
I'm good. I'm warming up. I'm stretching.
Warming up, stretching, feeling good, feeling positive. All right, let's remind our listeners what were this week's 4 events in no particular chronological order. The last time that Man U beat Liverpool at Anfield. When did Vieira transfer from Juventus to Inter? This was the hint that I gave you. Mm-hmm. Manchester United, when did they win their last Premier League? And when did Conte become Juventus manager? Rory, can you put these 4 events in order? You will also have a chance to guess the lineup for the last time that Man U beat Liverpool at Anfield. Walk us through your thinking process.
Okay, so the hint you did give me was that Inter Calciopoli, that was all 2006. So Vieira joined Juventus almost immediately after that. So I'm going to say Vieira to Juventus is first on the list because I think he wasn't managed by Conte, or Conte at least didn't buy him. So I'm going to say Vieira to Juventus first. Second, I'm going to say Antonio Conte is appointed Juventus manager. Because I'm not sure when that was, but I know that Allegri was at Juventus for a long time as well. And Conte was there for a long time, so I think it was quite a while ago. Now, third, I'm going to say Manchester United win the league because in our last special, we were talking about Manchester City winning the league for the first time. And the team that won that the year before was Manchester United. So I'm going to say third, Manchester United. And fourth, the last time Manchester United beat Liverpool at Anfield, because I think I was watching a video of it in my research, maybe. I'm just trying to remember what year it is, but I'm going to say that's the last. So, shortly, quickly, first, Vieira to Juventus. Second, Conte to Juventus. Third, Manchester United win the league. Fourth, United beat Liverpool at Anfield.
So this is episode 19, am I correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I believe so.
We need to change this format ASAP because I'm getting shit at making the questions. Woo! And Rory is getting good at guessing. I did give you a hint. Patrick Vieira transfers from Juventus to Inter Milan in the summer of 2006. Conte crowns his dream to become Juventus manager. I say he crowns his dream because the guy had been coaching Bari. He had been coaching Atalanta. And every time it was just like, I'm just coaching these teams because I want to eventually get to Juventus. He did say it in a few occasions. He was like, with all the respect I can have for Atalanta, I just care about coaching Juventus. So in 2011, he did become Juventus' manager. 2013, the last time Manchester United won the Premier League. And finally, the last time that Man U beat Liverpool at Anfield, and the game this weekend will exactly be at Anfield, was in 2016. Now, I wanted to give you a hint for the goal scorer of that game, but I'm not going to. So, Rory, which team are you going to pick, Manchester United or Liverpool?
I'm going to go for Manchester United. I feel like they had more of a settled team at this time. Liverpool were a bit...
So, I'm going to give you a hint.
No. I want to go in free.
Come on, I was going to be stupid. I was going to tell you that they fielded 11 players.
Oh, right, okay, right. Thank you. Yes.
So that's my hint. So
Good.
Rory, remember,
They
you've
stuck
got
to association football rules. That's good to know. That's good to know.
exactly. So you've got 11 picks. At the third wrong one, you are out. Go.
Okay, in goal, David De Gea.
Yes.
The defense would have been Evra.
Nope. One mistake.